Hey guys, so today I want to talk about OWL playoffs. I'm really excited. It's starting this Sunday, technically, but the actual open stuff is going to be on next Wednesday to well, not even next Wednesday, sorry, Thursday and Friday. But what I want to do is I want to do a ranking system of who I think is going to get placed where and sort of why. So right over here, we can definitely see the brackets. We can see Dallas, Seoul, Chalk, Glads will have a bye. I also did right over here an exact ranking system in terms of like first seed all the way to last seed. This is going to be first and second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. You sort of get the gist. So in my honest opinion, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the ones first, and I think are just 100% going to be, make it somewhat far. I'm just going to put them out here. There you go. So those are the teams I already think are going to make it far. Now the next thing is these teams. Which one is sort of going to lose, or just not make it as far? Well, I think Florida and London are great teams, but I think in this meta where we're expecting a bunch of Winston being played, it's looking like a lot of Winston, Tracer, Reaper, Lucio Kiriko. I don't think London's going to have a very strong player for that. I think Hottie's a really strong Reinhardt, but I think he's going to struggle for sure on the Winston, especially in OWL team tier, I have a feeling. I do think he's a very, very strong player, though. I also think that who is going to really play Reaper? They do have Shax, and Shax is a very strong player. And maybe they could put someone like Sparker or Backbone on Reaper and it'll come out clutch. But I still am not super confident in, them playing this. I do think, again, they are originally a brawl comp, and it is sort of a brawl comp. So it might work out well. So I might just regret everything I'm saying. But I still think that London will not be able to keep up with the rest of the team. Something also to keep in mind is this comp isn't super mechanical. It's very team-based focused, and London is known for being very macro-focused and very team-based. So again, I could be like totally wrong here, and if I am, I'm sorry, Landon. I'm sorry, everyone on the team. But I'm putting London, here. I'm putting them down actually with Florida. Then I'm gonna put actually Toronto and Spark over here. Because I think Florida again, not really sure. I just think they got in. They might have like won a decent amount in playoffs, but I'm just still not really, or play-ins. I'm just not really confident in their ability to be able to maybe adapt very fast and do very well here. So, yeah, and nothing too logical here with their roster. I just don't think it's necessarily a good option for them. I know someone can like definitely play Winston and something he's strong at, but when I look at Hydron, Checkmate, and XC, I'm thinking Reaper, and I'm a little confused. I do have Tracer players. On Moves, Lucio was like insanely good, but and like I'm sure Majin and Rupal will always do well in flex support or like on Kiriko, but I just don't think it's going to be very strong. The reason why I put Toronto here, they have Muse, very strong, very, very strong Winston player. Charong, very strong Lucio player. Twilight, very strong like aim support, flex support. Hishu actually really known for his Reaper, and although in Finale, again, I think they could be up a bit more, but I actually, you know what? I'm gonna swap this. I'm gonna put Toronto up and Outlaws down one. I take it back, because I do think that with their roster they'll do a lot better. Spark, I just generally think like their DPS are really strong, especially if they're able to play Alpha Yi. I'm not sure what they're going on with Neko and Taro as supports, to be honest, because I think Irony's nuts, but as well as Super Rich, to be honest. But I'm not too confident in Gooshway Winston anymore. I just don't. I never thought he was like super insane. I thought he was like pretty mid. So I don't think he's gonna do that great. I think there's also this just general concept of like KR teams coming in and like playing against NA teams and like getting used to a tempo difference where NA teams can play really, really fast and KR teams like to play slow. And while this comp is sort of counter diving and it plays slow a lot for CD trades and whatnot, I think that they might just lose really fast into a team that plays like really fast and catches them by surprise. And granted, they're playing into Shanghai Dragons. I don't see them winning that, to be honest, right off the bat. And after that, they would play into this quarterfinal loser 3. So I think it's this, which would be Shock, Atlanta, Florida, and I don't really see them winning that either. So I think in general they're over there. Who and the next teams I'm looking at, I think that Yeah, see, it's really tricky now because now I got to make a lot of tough choices. So I think the team that's unfortunately going to win this is Shock. It's going to be Shock or Dallas, I think, because they've had a lot more time practicing against a majority of teams in NA. I think they're probably more comfortable with play styles. I am a little doubtful on how Fearless is going to play just because he hasn't played for a while. So if he does play on Winston, it's going to be a little bit if they do play Hanbin and Hanbin plays Winston or Zarya, it's also just like Hanbin Winston is a little makes me think Hanbin Zarya is obviously good, but it's not necessarily meta. And Dallas is definitely known to go off meta. So, in Rush I trust. Rush is a smart guy, but I'm not too, comfortable with that. So I'm gonna put it like that. Seoul I'll keep up because I think like they have a really, really strong roster. I think Smurf is one of the best Winston players. I love Iris. I think he's insane. I can't even imagine like him on Kiriko. If he plays it, he's just gonna pop off. Their DPS are broken. So I think like Seoul should definitely be up here. We'll figure out exactly where when. I think Shanghai has sort of dropped the ball a little bit. They haven't really been able to adapt very well, in my opinion. They have Fate and Void. Yeah, they have Lip, who are you? Fleta, again, great players. They have a decent backline as well. Izyaki's insane, and Lee Jae-hong is really strong, but I just feel like they haven't had that same sync that they had last season. I feel like they've sort of been eh. So I think they're going to be roughly over here. So now we're looking at something like this. Philly, I think, is going to be strong mainly just because their DPS are absolutely busted. But the thing to realize is these DPS are like aim-based EPS. Like they're like, like point click, like I'm going to play Widow and kill everybody. You're playing Reaper now, and it's more team-based. So I'm actually going to put them over here. And now it sort of looks something like this. Now, do I think Atlanta should be up or not versus this? I think I'd probably put Atlanta above Seoul, and I'd keep it like this. This is sort of my general thoughts. Why Glads is still above is because Glads just has, like, in my opinion, some of the best players in the league. You put Kevster on Tracer, he's going to do things. You put Happy on Reaper, he's going to do things. Rainier, in general, is just a very strong player. You have the best Lucio in the league, Funny Astro. You have Scoot and Shu, best flex supports. So just mechanically, they're already just going to be a top 4 team. I would say something has to go drastically wrong with, something that like play or something that happens for them to not win. But I would say this is sort of my general prediction. A lot of people are probably going to give me shit for putting Seoul solo and putting London solo. But I'm not. My biggest thing is when I see KR teams coming in to NA and playing against a bunch of NA teams, it's either they're going to roll and no one knows how to play against them. Happened last season with Ball. Shanghai was just rolling everybody, or they come in and they just don't know how to deal with stuff, and it's close, but they just don't end up winning. MVP has to be Proper. There's no way Proper cannot not get MVP. But you know what I will say? You know who should get the hidden MVP? Hawk. Hawk has done absolutely insane this season, and it's not just because I'm a content creator for Atlanta. If you think about how many heroes he's had to play and how little mistakes he makes. He may not be flashy like Hanbin, right? But like Hanbin all about, I'm gonna play Zarya, I'm gonna like run people down and kill everybody. Sure, like that's awesome. You're doing the proper thing where you're killing everybody. Awesome. Like that's good. That's great. But there's also, in my opinion, supportive roles such as like main support and tank in some situations that are more supportive roles so that other people can carry. And when I think of Hawk, that dude like just doesn't die. If I were to go back and like find Doomfist VODs, I could find it like from multiple officials that he should have died somewhere, but he just wouldn't die. And I would just be like, how did he live? He shouldn't have lived there, but he did. And like that fact, and he drags so much aggro on him that his team, like Kai, UV, OG, and even Venom, are able to get so much value that it's like honestly like not necessarily surprising, but it's just insane. So I think there should be like a like supportive role type of thing where you're not necessarily the carry, but you're sort of like the silent carry. And obviously, it's something not a lot of casters talk about. It's not a lot of general people talk about, but that dude just does so much. It's insane. So this is my general thoughts. I hope it makes sense, and I hope you guys enjoyed. And make sure to like and subscribe.